Hello everyone, welcome back to Bumble Stitch's Flosstube. My name's Nicola and today is Sunday the 22nd of September. So I'm back quite a bit sooner than I normally am, so feeling quite pleased with myself for doing that. Probably the main reason is because this past week I've had a week off work. Justin and I had some time just to relax and indulge ourselves in our hobbies. We went out a couple of times, had nice lunch and just really enjoyed not having to go to work, which was a really nice change. I wanted to say a big thank you to all the new subscribers that I've had on the channel since my last video. Quite a few of you are new, so thank you very much for choosing to subscribe to the channel, and I hope that you enjoy what you see today. I've got a little mixture of cross stitching, some sewing and some quilting. So I've been very busy this week. I've been sewing to my heart's content. I made a huge mess in here. It was literally like an explosion of fabric and threads and just all the loveliness, and I've had the best time. So yes, I've got a fair few things to share with you. One of the things, I'm sorry, my glasses have steamed up a little bit. That's because I'm rather warm today. Although it's the 22nd of September and it was raining earlier today, it's actually quite warm still. The last week was actually quite warm in the early sort of 20 degrees. So yeah, we definitely picked the right week off for the weather, but this one for sure, be quite glad when the cooler autumn weather kicks in properly. Okay, I was saying, yes, I've had a few things happen since I saw you last. I had a day trip to London with Justin, and I, while he was busy doing some things, I popped along to Liberty, which was lovely as always. My quilt, Millie's Dresses, is actually back from the long armour. I haven't done the binding yet, but I will give you a little peek. But obviously I'll share it in full when I've got the binding stitched on. I literally picked her up yesterday, so that's exciting. And I mentioned that I've had a week off to create lots of things. So if you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen an FFO that I got done, and I couldn't be more pleased with this little chap. So without further ado, here is my Black Cat sampler by Brenda Gervais, and I just love him. I think he is the cutest thing. Really enjoyed finishing him. As always, Brenda's finishing instructions were absolutely spot on. The only thing I did that was slightly different is instead of using a piece of fabric for the ruff around his neck, I used some ribbon. I'll tell you more about that in a moment, but let's have a little look at his party hat. His cute little face, party ready with his little ruffle, and of course the stitching. And I've backed him with some spider web fabric. I didn't have any plain black fabric, and I thought this was sort of neutral enough not to distract from him. Although you can't see it from the front, I didn't want anything too sort of crazy to do distract from the design overall. He's plump but not too plump. He's just filled with polyester fibre fill stuffing, so he's quite light. I did think about putting something heavier in the bottom, but yeah, this seemed to work out fine. He took a lot of stuffing. I've got a huge bag of stuffing that I got from Amazon, and I pulled out a massive amount on my desk, and it was a huge cloud of it, and I thought, oh, I won't need all that, but I actually needed more than I thought. Just kept on stuffing and stuffing until he was just the right degree of plumpness. So let me tell you about the project itself. The chart is this one from Brenda Gervais, Black Cat Sampler. I think it's quite an early one. I bought this direct from Brenda's website because I couldn't find it anywhere else, and a very sweet friend in the States bought it actually from the website and sent it over to me. Unfortunately, Brenda doesn't ship direct to the UK. I'm not sure about other countries. I think it's just within the United States that she ships. But I was absolutely set on getting this little design because I think it's so sweet. So I did the stitching with all the called for, they're all DMC, and the called for fabric. This is a 32 count, no sorry, it's a 30 count Weeks Dye Works in the colourway Onyx, and I ordered that from 123 Stitch, and I was careful to get the called for because there is a template within the pattern to create the cat shape, and I thought it's not going to work if the count is out on the linen, so I followed that instruction. And the hat is some Weeks Dye Works wool, this little party hat there. And for the chenille, just by chance the other day, the day before I was going to finish him, I found this giant ball of chenille yarn in Hobbycraft. It was about £4. There's a huge amount here, and it was just the right shade. It's just like an ecru sort of colour, just the right shade and thickness to finish off the trim here on his hat, and with his little party pom-pom on top of his hat. Now this section here, Brenda calls for you to take a strip of fabric and thread it onto a needle to ruffle it up and to just tie that around his neck. Well, at that point, I'd already made the cat. He was done. The hat was done. It was just the ruff left to do. And I could not get that fabric to sit right. I was getting really frustrated. And in the end, I literally just downed tools. I left everything on my desk, walked away, closed the door and left it, and went back to it the next morning. I was really quite upset about it. Much debate with Justin about what am I going to do about the ruff on the cat, you know, first world problems. He said, you'll figure something out, just go back to it in the morning. So I had a little rummage through stash, found this ribbon, this sort of like pumpkin and cream gingham ribbon. And I thought, well, I'll ruffle that up and see if that will go. And as I was threading it onto the needle, it was making a really nice, it was sort of crinkling up on its own. I thought, well, that actually looks quite nice. I quite like that. So that's what we went with. All that then remained was to add the whiskers and glue his hat on. The hat is just glued on with Aileen's tacky glue, and that dried nice and clear. I put pins on it to hold it in place. Again, Brenda's suggestion. And what I did as well, when I first started stitching this, I bought some black interfacing because this linen is actually quite, not loose, but it's a fairly open, I don't know if you can see, it's a fairly open weave of linen. And I thought, if I'm not careful, you may be able to get black stuff in, I don't know. But I only had white. I didn't want to risk it showing through, so I interfaced it with the black interfacing, and you can't see any of the fibre fill. So that means he is done. He's all ready for Halloween. He's been sitting up there waiting, and then when I get all my Halloween bits and bobs out to decorate, I will put him in pride of place, and obviously well out of the way of Alf, who has been, every time he walks by, he sort of gives it the side eye as if to say, I know it's up there. I think he'd have great fun with this for about 5 minutes. So there is my FFO that I'm really, really pleased to have done. So let's put him to one side and move on to some other things that I've been stitching. Now this week has been a mixture really, as I said, some stitching of an evening, some hand sewing, some general sewing. I've made some project bags and also some quilting. So, but let's carry on. I'll go through all the stitching first. And this first project that I wanted to share with you is a new start, and it's in a new bag as well. I was watching Sian of Periwinkle Stitcher, and she showed one of her Laurie Holt project bags that she'd made. And I thought, I've got that panel. Why have I not made that bag? So Sian, you gave me a little kick up the bottom to get this one out and get this sewn up. So really gorgeous. If you've got this, if you've seen these panels before from Laurie, they're fabulous. You get enough printed sections on a panel to make 4 large project bags this size and 4 small ones as well. So without further ado, residing in here, You know I love my Brenda Gervais, and in here I have a new start, which is a witch in her garden, and there she is with her lovely sunflowers and her pumpkins. And I think it was Carol Saltbox Stitcher I was watching this morning, having my coffee in bed, and she was saying Brenda's witches are so cute, and they really are. They are the cutest little witches. So there she is with her big leg of mutton sleeves on her blouse under her pinafore dress. Now I've only got a small start on this. I haven't got a board. Just excuse me 1 second while I grab a board so I can show you. I hope this one's not too fluffy. It's a bit fluffy, but I'm sure you won't mind. So I made a small start. Now obviously this is a drum, and I started in the centre, and that's what I did yesterday as this small start. This is some Zweigart Edinburgh 36 count in summer khaki. There's no mottling or anything, but it went well with the flosses that I've pulled, and it was in stash, so I thought that's a bonus too. Now I'm using most of the called for flosses, but some I've substituted just purely because of impatience. I wanted to get started on it, and I thought that way I don't have to wait for flosses and it's good to go. And they go well with this linen. All the colours work really well, so I think that's going to be a really nice project just to stitch through in the autumn. Because as I was actually preparing for this video today, I popped a few things in the dining room just to make a little display of a few things, and it struck me I don't actually have many autumn pieces. I've got quite a few Halloween pieces now, but not many autumn. So I have pulled out a few charts that are things that I think I need to at least make a start on to get some more autumn decor for the home. Let me pop that one down there. I'll tell you about those more in a bit. Now, next is the Hometown Holiday sampler that I am stitching along with Fat Quarter Shop on. Now, I've ironed this piece, but I realised as I was ironing it, I hadn't snipped away some of the red threads from behind. So if you can see those, please excuse me. So this is my progress on this one. We're stitching this, it's a band sampler, and stitching one band each week. So I've got weeks 1 and 2 here. The light's throwing the colour of the linen out quite a bit. This is a 32 count Picture This Plus in vellum, and it's the camera's really accentuating the mottling there. But let me just show you the chart. This is living in one of my lovely bags from Pauline at Sobe Bags. I think that's a Liberty fabric. And here's the chart. So you can see I've done weeks 1 and 2 and ready to start here. What I think I'm going to do though, because the final part is actually, there's more stitching in this final part than any of the others. So I think I might make my way just down this first column so that I can get to here, so that I can just keep working on that bottom one, so that it's not quite so much to stitch at the end. But it's such a pretty sampler. Now this is all in DMC. My threads have got a bit crunkled in here. These are all the called for DMC. A little bit tangled, but you get the idea. And of course you can buy this as PDF as well. So if you wanted to join in, it's definitely not too late. It's only September. This is a Christmas piece after all. And I'll pop the hashtag along the bottom of the screen so that you can share your progress if you want to join in. So that's Hometown Holiday. And I'm thinking for a finish, because I do try to, as I'm stitching a project, I do try to have an idea or a picture in my mind of how I would like to see that piece finished. And with this, it's either going to be a pillow, like a pillow that you put on a chair rather than a small, with the design at one end and then some more fabric sort of here, if you see what I mean. Or I've got a small wooden sled that I bought in Hobbycraft a couple of years ago that I haven't done anything with yet, and I might paint it red, distress it up a little bit, and then mount this piece on there and sort of stand it upright. So I'll see when it's finished how sort of comes up size wise and if it's going to work or not. But that's kind of how I see it. I think it's got that lovely sort of charming look. I think it'll look really pretty on a sled. I forgot to mention I'm stitching this on 32 count, but I'm using 1 strand of DMC over 2 linen threads, and it's giving it a lovely sort of that lovely old-fashioned vibe, which I think really complements the design. So that is going back in that bag and can pop down there. Now this next piece, I should have looked back at my last video because I can't remember if I shared progress on it with you or not. So I'll quickly share it with you, and if I've shown you before, just please ignore me. It's just, I think it's an age thing, isn't it? If you're kind of at my age, you'll probably know that sometimes you just can't remember what you did the day before, let alone sort of 3 or 4 weeks ago. This is Jack-o'-lantern Jubilee by Brenda Gervais, and I've done the trick or treat, and I've been working on this one here where the bird, the crow, is pulling his little what is it? You know, a little cart full of pumpkins. So I've been working on that one. I'm not going to dwell on it too much because I really have got a feeling that that I spoke to you about that last. I can't remember if I've done any progress on it or not. But in theory, I could, if I want some extra Halloween finishes, that one's done. And so is this little Broomhilda on the back. I could, she's got a little bit of fluff on her. I could get those 2 done. But I tend to try and get these done all on one piece of linen and then finish them all together. I'm saying that, I did that with Keeper of the Pins, but I haven't actually fully finished them yet. They're all stitched. So, yes, maybe not quite as efficient as I'm making myself out to be. The final piece that I've been stitching on since I saw you last is Autumn Alphabet. Let me just grab the chart. This is living in one of my bags from Sue in Australia. Sue sent me some bags quite a while ago now, and I just love the fabrics of these. So that's where this is living. So thanks again, Sue. Hope you're well. And this is Autumn Alphabet. Here's the chart by Willow Hill Samplings. Now, when I started this was another one of my impatient, can't wait to get started projects where I didn't have, well, I don't think I had any of the call for. So I just went by the photograph on the chart and pulled what I thought worked. The fabric is some of Paula's, and it is 36 count straw from Eva Faith. And a little bird has told me that Paula is dyeing up some fabric this coming week. So keep your eyes peeled on her Instagram. She's the Snail Garden on Instagram. For when her fabrics are dyed up. I'm after some 40 count, so don't take all of that, please. Let me get mine first. But Paula's just back from a wonderful trip to Peru, so I'm looking forward to her next video to see lots of wonderful footage from her trip there. Anyway, I am waffling on. So I chose flosses, that's what I was telling you, wasn't I? And I went through and picked out what I thought was closest. And I don't know why I haven't finished this. It's quite a small piece. And I really love it. And I think it's going to look nice in a black frame. Just one that stands up on its own, you know, like a photo frame. So I need to get cracking with this one. Maybe I can get it done for this Halloween. And is it, you know, it is called Autumn Alphabet. I guess that could go as an autumn piece rather than a Halloween piece. It's got the black cat and the crow and the pumpkins, but there's nothing overtly Halloween about it. So, yes, so that one's in current, well, this one, along with the Hometown Holiday and the Witch in Her Garden, are the project bags that live at the side of the sofa. So they are definitely current projects. So that's it for my stitching. I mentioned to you, let me just check my notes to make sure I'm on plan. I mentioned to you that I was getting some bits and pieces together and I felt like I didn't have a lot of autumn stuff. I'm good for Easter, really well for Christmas. Halloween's coming along nicely, but it's summer and autumn that are not quite as yeah, I'm not quite so well equipped to decorate for those seasons. So I had a little look through some charts, and of course there are a million that I could buy. And if you've got any that are real corkers, let me know in the comments. But let me show you what I pulled out that I've got in stash that are things that I would like to have for autumn. Now the first is from Brenda Gervais' Season of the Heart booklet, and of course this design on the back, which is the autumn house, because it has the acorns, it has the pumpkins, it's got the cute little owl and the lovely house, and I think that is so pretty. And I don't know why I've never stitched any of these, because I love all of them, and I would ideally like each one to display. So that's one. The next thing, of course, is Feast of Friendship by Blackbird Designs. This is absolutely, well, it just speaks autumn, doesn't it? It's got all the abundance of sort of harvest connotations. The house is stunning. The colours are wonderful. It's absolutely beautiful. So I think I should, you know, even if I just make a start, at least it's then in, you know, it's in progress, isn't it? Rather than just a chart. And that close up there, I mean, would you look at the colours on these fruits? That is absolutely spectacular. And I think it's all Gentle Arts. There's quite a lot of colours in this. And I think if I haven't got all of them in stash, I think I would probably get the cord for to try and get as close to this as I can. So that's Feast of Friendship. Same with Blackbird. Obviously we've got these two beautiful books, When the Leaves Fall and Winds of Autumn. I won't go through the books because obviously Holly did a fabulous Blackbird chart, or a couple of videos going through all the Blackbird booklets and charts that she has, so they're all in there. But there are some absolutely, excuse me, wonderful projects in here, in both of these, that I would like to have for this season. The next one is, and I've got a lot of these Animal Crackers charts, I haven't stitched a single one, so I think Miss Hazel would be the perfect autumn stitch. Being a little squirrel, and a red squirrel at that, she would be perfect with her little blue coat. So that is on the radar, and I think I bought threads, or I've got threads ready for this one when I got the chart. So I don't know what, 36 count linen, that's fine. So she's definitely, and I've got a perfect little bag for her, I'll show you that in a second. And a little sewing related project, I found this in my stash. When you go through looking for things, you find stuff, don't you? Stuff you forgot that you'd bought, or you'd been given, or you just acquired, and then you think, why have I never made that? It's so pretty. And it's this little sewing kit. This was actually a gift from my friend Jules of So Sweet Violet a long time ago. I carefully kept it in with my cross stitch charts, and then it just waved at me this morning. And this is the Plum Garden Autumn Plums kit from Tilda. So I'm thinking they would look really cute in a bowl as well, wouldn't they, with some smalls. I need some more time off work, obviously. Okay, so those are some charts that I'm thinking I would like to, yeah, definitely like to get some of those started. But as I said, please let me know if you've got any really, really good autumn, not Halloween, but autumn ones in mind that you've stitched, or you've got your eye on, or you've seen. Do let me know in the comments below. Okay, while we're still talking about stitching, I received my latest piece of linen from West Green Loft Yarns, Vicky. I'm just trying to unwrap it so I can show you properly. Excuse the crinkling. This was the September colourway, and it's this lovely biscuity, almost like ginger biscuit brown. It doesn't have a colourway name, it's just called September Club. and I get a fat quarter, as you can see, in 36 count. Absolutely beautiful. And I thought to myself, because I've got this box, I thought it might be quite nice to show you my little collection of these linens. Obviously some are in use, they're in whips and they're being used in projects, but I've got this box that's some beautiful shower gels and body lotions came in. It was a gift from my mum, and it's a really nice sturdy box, and we like a nice sturdy box, don't we, or a tin to keep our things in. It's so sturdy I can't actually open it, and in here I've got all my West Green Loft Yarns linen, so I thought I'd give you a little peek so you could see. The lid is nearly off, and in here I've got all of the previous ones that I haven't used. These are the complete ones, so I thought we'd have a little look. And the box smells amazing because it smells of the cherry blossom rituals products that were in here. So let's have a little look, and then I can add this month's in. So this one was from June. This is Darcy Blue, Mr. Darcy from Pride and Prejudice. Then we have, these are not in any particular order, these are just how they are. This is July's. I don't know how the colourways are going to show up. This is like a very, very soft, almost like an eau de Nil, like the colour of water almost. These are all 36 count. This one is the August. So this is September, but not quite as ripe. So these lovely neutral shades. Then we have Vanilla Bean, which was from May. A lovely warm cream. Then we have Rebel, which was June, which is a grey. And you can see why I love keeping these all in a box, because they're just like cross stitches candy, aren't they? This one is Sugar Almonds. It doesn't say the month, but this is a very, very pale pink. Then we have Snow Day, which is this gorgeous aqua, it's like a washed out Tiffany blue. This one, really pretty. This one is called Snow, for obvious reasons. It's not a pure white, it's got like a grey hue to it, really soft and pretty. And that's what I like about Vicky's colour aesthetic. Everything is very soft and very delicate, really just gorgeous. April, again, this one doesn't have a colourway. This is like a very, very soft peppermint. Then we have October from last year. This is called Primitive Damask Rose. This gorgeous beigey pink. And Mushroom was from February this year. And this blue is called Liberty. This was from July last year. Like a patriotic, like a faded primitive patriotic blue there. And my final one is Bark, which is a lovely sort of like a driftwood colour. So that is quite a lovely little stash. Well, it's not a little stash, is it? So that's that section there, and this section here are all my, so there are some gorgeous linens there, because it was one area of my stash that I recognised as being lacking, that I didn't have lots of lovely linens. So that's why I joined Vicky's club, and I have no intention of leaving it anytime soon, because every time I get, I might need a bigger box, but every time I get a new edition, it's just as beautiful as the last. So there they all are. So I hope you enjoyed seeing those. I'm not sure if she has any spots for the club at the moment. I'll put up a link in the show notes below. But if she doesn't have spots on the club, she does often sell linen in her shop anyway. So do keep an eye out if you'd like to get some of this. Highly recommended. Right, let's pop that one down there. I mentioned that I'd done some sewing, and Obviously, I made the pumpkin bag that I showed you at the beginning with my witch in her garden in. I also made this gorgeous little acorn bag from the same panel. This has got a bit of thread on it. Let's get rid of that. And I just did some simple quilting on these, just to add a bit of interest. And just use some lorry fabric that I had in stash. I think this one's yellow pears. I didn't worry too much about the linings if they weren't perfect. I just wanted to use things that I had in stash, and I had the zippers as well that I bought at the same time as the panels. So I made that one, and I'm thinking that will be perfect for Miss Hazel to live in, because she's going to love being in an acorn bag, isn't she? And I think she will just about fit if I put her in that way. Might be a bit tight. We'll make it work. It will be fine. So that was that. And I made another bag from not the same lorry panel. I think this is with the first Lorry Holt bag panel. I made this one as well. This is a gift for a friend of mine who was asking about how to make project bags, and I thought, well, let's get her started by making one for her. So I made that one as well. This is what happens when you've got a week off. You can just do all the things, and it's just a lovely feeling. Okay, I had some giveaways for cross stitching last episode. Let me just go through the winners. Now, if I grab the prizes. So the first one is for the Historical Sampler Company's Happy Halloween Stitch Along, which has come to an end. But I've got the kit in here, which is the linen and the flosses. And I've got all the PDF charts that I can email to the winner. So I've chosen a winner for this one, and the winner of that one is Nicola Powell 4852. I'll pop the winners up on the screen as I go through them. Congratulations, Nicola. Hope you enjoy stitching your Halloween, Happy Halloween stitch along there. The next one is for the jars patterns or charts from Fat Quarter Shop, and this one there are, how many have I got here? I think there's 6. No, 7. There's January through to July of the Shelf Life series from Fat Quarter Shop. Lots of you are interested in this one, but the winner is Barbie Crab 369. Congratulations, Barbie. And finally, for the cross stitch giveaways, were the chickens from Lorry Holt's Chicken Club. And I think I had pretty much all of them, but not quite. But there are quite a few charts here of these wonderful chickens. And the winner of these is Knitting with Matron 8248. So congratulations to you 3 winners. Please contact me on the email address below, and I will get your prizes out to you as soon as I can. It may not be immediately, but I will try to get them out as soon as I possibly can for you. And thanks to everyone that entered for those giveaways. Okay, I have got the quilting one as well, but I'll do that in the next section. Okay, before I move on to the quilting section, and I'm going to have a quick break where I'm going to bring Alf in because he is absolutely bursting to say hello to you all. I had some goodies arrive yesterday from Fat Quarter Shop, so I thought I'd share those with you now. What have we got here? Okay, let's do the stitching goodies first. If I can get into some semblance of organisation, that would be really handy, wouldn't it? So first of all are these Cozy Mittens floss drops from Lorry Holt. These are adorable, and I think these may need to go on my hometown holiday sampler. These are little, I don't know if they're no, they're plastic, but they're little floss drops shaped like mittens. I mean, that is just the cutest thing ever, isn't it? And you get, I don't know how many you get in a pack, quite a few. So they are super cute. We've then got August's Shelf Life jar, which is the August Beehive. And in actual fact, while I'm sitting here with this, Barbie, I'm going to put this one in with your jars so that you're quite up to date. I'm just going to fan myself with it for a second because I'm having a bit of a hot one. So I'll pop that with your jars. And we have got the mini Simply Signs. This is Gather. So this is a really pretty autumn design. And this has got acorns and pumpkins. And a lovely gingham bow on there. And look at this lovely little charm. I don't know where they got that. That's adorable. So that's the latest mini Simply signs. And these are really cute. These are the spooky cute ornaments. Hope you can see those okay. These are the ones finished in their tart tins. I'm not sure if they've sprayed their white tins black or if they've brought black ones out. I have to check. I think they've probably sprayed them black. But these are really, really cute. This is not scary Halloween. This is pretty Halloween. So those are adorable. And I'm going to share the quilty things they sent me for the next section. So I'm just going to pause here. If I can find my little clicker. I'm going to pause here. I'm going to go and bring Alf in to say hi, and then we'll carry on with some quilting. Right, get down. Come here. Up, see. Oh, here he is. Up, sit. Right. Okay, Alf's come. Alf, what's this? What's Mummy got? Alf's got some calming treats, would you believe? Here we go, look. Why don't you look at... You're going to say hi and sit like a good boy. You're going to sit like a good boy. He's been sitting really calmly in the lounge. And as soon as I called him to come on the video, he came flying through. Didn't you? Go on then, have your calming treats. That's it. But yeah, hopefully I'll get some more footage of him on his walks and that and pop that somewhere in the video. Are you going to sit nicely? Are you going to sit? Alf, you're going to sit? You're going to be a good boy? You're going to be a good boy? Too many nice things. I think it's time for Alf to go. But no, that's the binding for Millie. You can look at the tail's going. You are such a cute boy. Let's take you back to Daddy, shall we? Shall we take you back to Daddy? Shall we? Shall we take you back? Shall we take you back, Waggy boy? Okay, I'm going to take him back and get the quilts. Hi, I'm back. I've dropped off Alf in the lounge. I'm standing up because I've got a quilt to show you, an FFO. I'm just going to move the chair out of the way. It's a baby quilt, and this is a quilt that I bought as a kit from the Bramble Patch, who were exhibiting at the NEC Festival of Quilts. And here it is. And this is using fabrics called Elma and Eloise by Riley Blake. And you can see all these lovely little woodland mama bears, baby bears, the wood grain, little birds. Are they chickadees? Some sort of little cute little birds or partridges. So super cute. And on the back is the same fabric with the little bunnies and foxes. It's just so cute. I just really enjoyed making this. Let me sit down and I can tell you about it. Okay, so this is a gift for a colleague at work. Well, actually, one of my bosses. She's actually going on maternity leave very soon. Her baby's due in October and she's having a baby boy, and we're all very excited about it. And I knew that she was doing her nursery in these colours and with a woodland vibe. So when I saw this kit at the NEC, I thought it was absolutely perfect. Now let me show you pull the table a little bit closer now. So this was the design, Elma and Eloise. As I said, it was from the Bramble Patch, based in Weedon, Northamptonshire. It's 34 by 40 inches. The fabrics are by Riley Blake. I followed the design exactly. And the top came together so quickly. It was literally, I cut the fabrics out. Then I thought, well, I'll just stitch a couple together just to see how they look. So I was a bit excited. And then the next thing I knew, I pieced the top. So that was absolutely fabulous. So this lovely sort of offset sort of brick pattern, which was really easy to do. It's got a lovely scrappy binding as well. And I knew I needed to get it done. I knew there was a time limit on this one because I wanted her to have it before she left so I could give it to her personally. And I ordered some batting from Wool Warehouse. And I always buy the Hobbs batting. I've saved the packet here. because it's got the washing instructions on that I need to give to my friend, so she's got all the information she needs. But when I opened it up, I saw those words, fusible. I thought, oh no, I've bought the wrong batting. It's fusible. I've never used that before. I don't know. So I looked up a couple of videos on YouTube to see if anyone had used it and what they thought. And the general consensus was it's actually really good. It's not a big project, so I was going to be quilting it myself. And I thought, well, let's give it a go and see. And all you basically do, if you haven't used it or haven't heard of it, is you just lay out your quilt sandwich, your backing, your binding, your backing, the batting and your quilt top, and then without using steam on your iron, you go over it and it gently fuses in the same way like a spray based would, but it's very gentle. And if you've got a bit of a wrinkle and you need to pull it out, you can lift the fabric off again and redo it, and it's very forgiving. And it was an absolute dream to work with. I loved using it, and I would definitely use it again for small projects that I'm going to quilt myself. I used every scrap of it, in fact, because when I made those Lori Holt project bags, I used up the remainder of it on those. And again, for bag making, it was perfect. So that was a real happy accident to find that, and I'll be using it again. So that is the quilt. I've put hand stitched one of my little Bumble Stitches labels on the bottom there. And I just did some very soft, quite big cross hatch on this. You can see it better on the back. On my machine here at home, I think they're 4-inch squares that I've done at a 45-degree angle. So I'm really excited about wrapping this up and giving it to her tomorrow when I go back to work. So that's my baby quilt. It's a lovely quilty FFO. Let's make sure I put it nicely. Keep it away from Alfred. The next, I'm just going to grab the next thing as well. And Millie is back from the long armour. Now, she's not bound. I only picked her up yesterday. I just want to give you a little peek so you can see she's all quilted now. She went to Valerie and John at Daisy May Quilting, who are fabulous, such lovely people, and literally about 10 minutes from my house. So I couldn't be happier or feel luckier. And here is the backing fabric. This is a Lori Holt wide back. And they've basted all the edges with a big basting stitch along here, which I can remove if it's in the way. And I just need to pop on my binding. So I'll give you a full reveal of this when I've done that, because I don't want to rush that bind. I want to really enjoy sitting and hand sewing the binding on. So let me pop that down. I can sit down again. And I have my scrappy binding all ready. There were a huge amount of pieces from the quilt that were cut for the binding. I've done what I think is going to be enough, and obviously I've got the pieces to hand if I need to add more. So apart from that, what have I been quilting? Well, I've been quilting on Lamingtons for tea. And I shared this with you last time. I bought this at the Festival of Quilts from the Amity, oh goodness, I can't remember the name, Amity Fabrics or Amity Textiles. They're in Australia. Really lovely people. I bought it from their stand at the NEC. As I said, this quilt pattern is one by Louise Papas. And this morning when I was browsing Instagram, I saw that very sadly and very suddenly Louise has passed away, which was a huge shock by the sounds of it to her family and friends, and really, really sad, very, very sad to hear that. When I posted on Instagram that I was making this quilt, she sent me a private message and said, thank you for sharing my pattern and really like your fabric choices and looking forward to seeing it made. And she came across, you know, just in that brief interaction, as such a lovely, lovely lady. And I just want to send my condolences to her friends and family. Yeah, a real shock, and makes me love this quilt even more to do it for Louise. So let me tell you a bit about it. I've got this little pile of loveliness here. Now I've gone a little bit off piste, and when I was doing that, I thought, oh, I hope Louise doesn't mind, and I'm sure she wouldn't. I think it was actually intended to be done as a hand pieced without papers, EPP, not EPP, but you know what I mean. So hand pieced, but I didn't really trust myself to do that. So I did the first block, which I think I might have shared with you last time, and I did it all. I cut out templates, printed them off from the pattern onto some lightweight card, and completely hand pieced this as EPP. But I thought, oh my goodness, this is going to take an age, and I really love this quilt so much. I need it. I need it in my life before the time that this is going to take. I've kept this block just sort of to show you. I'm going to be unpicking all these background sections though, because I then had a bit of a brainwave. And I thought, well, if I just piece all the Lamington crosses, I can then applique them onto some fabric squares that are the size of the blocks. So that's what I've been doing. So this is my Cheats Lamington's fatigue quilt. I've got a big stack of squares here to the size of the block. Obviously these are not the finished size, there'll be the seams to come off. And these are all, as I think I may or may not have mentioned before, these are all Laurie Holt fabrics. These are all from Stash. I've not bought any, well, I bought a tiny bit of fabric for the sashing that I'll show you in a minute. But these are all fabrics from Stash and leftovers, and yeah, so there's all manner in there of prints and colours. And because you can see from this, it's just a glorious mishmash of colours and prints and designs. But it all works. It's one of those, it's just a happy quilt. So I have been sitting of an evening, and before I do my stitching, I stitch one of these Lamington crosses, which obviously sit that way. And again, these are all from Laurie Holt fabric. So I won't take you through all of them, but I'll just show you so you can see some that I've done already and some of the colourways. These are from all different ranges from Laurie, all from Stash. Some were from Layer Cakes. Some were from left over from Millie's dresses there. That's another Millie's one. There's another Millie's one. Oops. So they're all going to I think just really gel well together. And my plan is to get, I think I've got half of these done now. I think I've got 18. Just set them out on the fabric squares that I've got, see what complements what, and then play around with the overall sort of design. And I also had a little play around with some applique on my sewing machine to see. I didn't fancy hand appliquing them all on because I'm thinking of longevity and how sturdy that will be. So I'm thinking I might even just do a little zigzag stitch on the sewing machine. But the jury's out. I haven't decided yet because I am really enjoying hand sewing at the moment. So the fabric that I bought is all still Laurie Holt. I got some of her bee ginghams. Is this bee ginghams? Let's have a look. Yeah, bee ginghams in the, I think this is the Pebble colourway. And that's for the outside borders. You can see that, the gingham. And the vertical sashing. And then for the horizontal sashing, I bought some, I think this is from Flea Market. If I can see it, it's the wrong side of the selvage. But I bought this here. So just nice and neutral, because I don't want anything to compete with those wonderful Lamington blocks. So one that I'm really enjoying working on, and I'm going to hand quilt it at the end. I've decided I really want to hand quilt that one. I've got a little bit of a quilty haul. I'm all about the sewing at the moment. And as I mentioned, I had a little trip to Liberty when Justin and I were in London. I bought the Alice Caroline book, didn't I, before the, what's it called? Alice's Wonderland quilt book. And I also joined her online class, which I can't remember the name of it, but you get lots of classes and tutorials by different designers to do different projects, which is wonderful. Anyway, I digress. So what did I buy in Liberty? Of course, everything comes in a wonderful... They've changed these bags. The bags used to be more luxurious than this, I'm absolutely convinced. But you still get the iconic purple bag. And I didn't go mad. But I did buy these beautiful scissors. I like the fact that they were in their little case and it's attached. And this fabric is one of their fabrics that depicts the Liberty building on in the Tanner lawn. So I picked those up, and in the fabric, in the haberdashery, this is a really crinkly bag, so excuse the crinkles. And just as a side note to buying fabric in Liberty, if you're buying fabric as a dressmaker, or as a, what can I say? You can't buy fabric off the bolt in Liberty in anything less than 1/2 metre. So you can't go in there and buy loads of fat quarters or anything like that, unless they're already pre-cut into bundles. They do have some sets like that, but not many. So it does limit you as a quilter or someone that's buying fabrics for crafty purposes. You know, you don't always want 1/2 metre of everything. But there were a couple of prints that really struck me that I thought, right, I'm going to get 1/2 metre of those. So the first is, what's the name of this one? I think it's from the London collection. I think it's called London Smoke. And I think this is the Sage colourway. So this one is basically a map. I'll hold it closer. All the names of the places, the rivers, the bridges, the churches. I think it's absolutely stunning. I love this fabric. I'd wear a shirt in this fabric. That is actually a bit of something that I aspire to be able to do, and make myself a really nice Liberty shirt. But I thought that was definitely worth investing in. I can see Luna having a little dress in that. I can see all sorts of lovely little projects in that fabric. The other one is a bit more traditional Liberty with a ditzy flower print. This one is, doesn't have the name on the, I know they do all have names, but I just love the colours of this. It's almost patriotic with that lovely fresh green in it as well. I think this would make a lovely shirt. Can you imagine that with sort of faded denim jeans and a white t-shirt underneath? Oh, getting carried away now. Anyway, so that's my other 1/2 metre that I treated myself to. And because there's lots of other small projects that I wanted to make, they do also stock the Alice Caroline fabrics in there, which are in smaller packs. And this is a like a charm pack. There are 5-inch squares. I'm just reading off the back. 20 different fabrics in there. So I picked up a pack of those as well. So that was my little mini Liberty haul. My Liberty bag stuck to my notebook now. Okay, so let's move that out of the way. And while I'm telling you about the Liberty haul, I picked up, I'm going to pop a photograph in. I mentioned the Alice Caroline, I really can't remember what the thing is called, Festival of Sewing or something. There's a project on there by Janet Clare, who is a Moda fabric designer and quilt designer, and she designed a piece of wall art. I'm going to put a photograph here, and I was really taken with it. It's a stunning class, easy. Well, I think it's easy to get to the free motion embroidery, but so I picked up a long canvas in the works. and this was really inexpensive, £5, to make this wall art. So I'm going to be diving into my Liberty scraps and charm squares, making the background and then making the little houses to put on the wall, because I thought that was such a nice project. But in that class pack, there are bags and cases, and I think there's a waistcoat, there's quilts, cushions, there's all manner of gorgeous things. And there's a couple of really interesting articles all about the history of Liberty fabric, how best to sew with it, what needles to use, what thread to use, all that kind of thing. So really, really interesting. I'm going to move on now to, I've got some other quilty haul. I'll go through that while I'm here, actually, because that makes sense, doesn't it? So I mentioned the Jen Kingwell book last episode that I bought at Festival of Quilts, and it is such a rabbit hole for me. I've become absolutely obsessed with all the Jen Kingwell designs, obviously, and Louise's design, and just love that whole look. It's really, really spoken to me. So I have the pattern for the Wensleydale quilt in my Jen Kingwell book, but I treated myself to the foundation papers. They did have them at Festival of Quilts, but I don't know why I didn't pick them up there, but I got them from Amity. So that's a whole pad of the foundation papers. I've not done foundation paper piecing before, so I'm really looking forward to doing this. I'm going to have a little practice before I start on that quilt. And the other design that I really, really was drawn to in that book, Quilt Recipes, is Winky Stars. And it's this one here, if you can see that. And this is English paper pieced. And I thought, and the book does give you the templates, and you can photocopy it and print them out and cut them out. And I thought that's going to be a horrendous job. So I noticed on the website that they sold the papers. So here they are. There's a whole box of the Winky Star EPP papers. So there they are. There's a whole lot of sewing in there, and that's not, that's not for today or maybe even this year or whenever, but I just thought if I've got them, when the mood takes me, I can make a start on that beautiful quilt as well. The last bit of stash that I've got is Paula's fault. Paula's just back from Peru, as I mentioned, and I've been off this week, and the plan was to make a start on Luna and do a bit of a sew along. And I know a few of you said in the comments that you've got the Luna book and you'd be quite interested. Well, I have not got round to doing it this week, which is a shame, but a lot of it is because deciding how to do it, and I know Paula's been the same. I think the patterns are written for hand sewing, the actual pieces of the rabbit, the body herself, but I don't know if my hand sewing's that great I want it to look really, really lovely, and I don't know if my hand sewing's up to that. So I was thinking of doing it on the machine, and then Paula quite rightly pointed out, is that going to be difficult to turn out the limbs if you do it on a machine? So do I do it on the machine but outside? Do the seams on the outside but on the machine? I'm going to have a little bit of practice on some scrap felt, I think is the best idea. But anyway, the reason that I'm saying this again is because Paula, she was flaunting her new Luna book to me, and she got this one, so of course I had to get it too. And I picked this up in the works when I picked up the canvas, and it was some ridiculous price. Its publisher's price is $15.99. It was marked up as £6 and the canvas was £5. When I got to the checkout, it was £8 for both of them. So I don't know which was but even at £6, an absolute bargain. And look at these. Obviously you've got Luna, and I love that little sailor dress she's wearing. And then this little guy here is called Hugh. He's some sort of, I don't know, beagle or boxer dog or something. But I thought he could be Alf. How easily could he be Alf? If I made the ears little triangles like Alf's, and just streamline his face a little bit, and just change the way his markings come, so he's got more of a tan face. I thought that's Alf in the making. So I'm really pleased to pick this book up for such a brilliant price as well. It's got so many gorgeous things as always. It's got all the, you get all the pattern pieces in. Oh, and I meant to say last time, if you are thinking of joining us and sewing a Luna, if you go to the publisher's website, it's published by David and Charles, which is here. If you go to their website, you can, I think it asks you for your email. And if I said this before, apologies, but you can download the patterns for making Luna. And then obviously you can just print them out and cut them out. And it's a lot easier than trying to photocopy out of your book. And I don't know about you, I don't like pushing a book down flat enough to put it in the photocopier. I don't like to break the spine or whatever, so if I can avoid that, I do. So that's a little handy hint for you. Right, okay, so that is that. Let me quickly tell you about the giveaway last time, which was the quilting giveaway. I feel like I'm a bit rambly today. So this is the quilty giveaway. This was for UK only because it's quite a big bundle and it would have cost me a lot of money to post this anywhere overseas. So it was the lovely little pouch from Little Jamie Handmade and all these lovely quilt patterns. And I've put a few more in since I showed it last time. The winner of this lovely bundle is Jane Styles 4024. So Jane, congratulations. Please drop me an email. Email address is down below and I'll get these out to you as soon as I can. Right, let's just snap this along a little bit. I had some quilty goodies from Fat Quarter Shop as well. I had two designs, Fox Hollow, which is a baby size quilt, and this is one of their Little P range. No, it's not. Yes, it is Little P by So Emma, Fox Hollow, and a Kim Deal one. They've had quite a few Kim Deal ones lately. This is Hidden Stars. So there's that one. And they also sent some foundation paper for the, I don't know if these are Laurie Holt. No, I think these are just It's So Emma. Not just It's So Emma, but they are just So Emma. These are the Woven Star design, and that's in 4-inch and 6-inch size. I think this is going to be perfect for me to have a practice before I do Wensleydale, because I've been meaning to make a mat for my sewing machine to sit on, and I think this will be a perfect thing to do with some scraps. So there they are. Let me just tell you about who I have been watching on YouTube lately. A new Flosstube has arrived in the last couple of weeks from Kelly at Cosford Rise Stitchery. I think she's got 2 episodes out already. So do go and watch Kelly. Her designs are lovely. She lives in Suffolk, not a million miles away from where I live. She's originally from Arkansas, but she lives over here now, and she has got some beautiful designs, and she shares some of her latest ones. So do go and give her a watch and give her a follow. I've been watching a lot of Emma Jones's vintage sewing box videos on YouTube. Emma is one of the designers in the Alice Caroline quilty classes that I'm doing, and she does some beautiful handwork. She does do classes as well, but she's quite a way up north, so a little bit far from me. But yeah, Emma Jones, you probably know of her. She's got a lovely, gentle demeanour, really, really relaxing to watch. Of course, Christy was back on our screens as well from Crosshatch Quilts. That was lovely to see her, and lovely that she gave my lovely friend Paula a shout out for her Flosstube. And of course, Carol Saltbox Stitcher, I was watching this morning and oohing and ahhing over all her lovely autumn finishes and just general loveliness. I think Carol is amazing. So I think that is everything. I've got one tiny thing that I wanted to share with you, and it's going to be a sneaky peek because it isn't done. Now in here, you've all seen this bandwagon. I don't know how it passed me by. I saw them, I didn't really take a lot of notice, but everyone's got a travel stitching case, haven't they? And I finally succumbed this week. I bought the Landici one, I don't know if you can see that. Oh, just about. On Amazon, really inexpensive, I think it was £15. And I'm in the process, it's a bit messy inside, I'm in the process of converting it. I'm not going to show you any more than that. I'll share it all with you next time when I've completely finished it, because I'm really enjoying doing it. But I think that is everything for today. Thank you so much for joining me again. Thank you to all those new subscribers that joined since the last episode. Please support this channel if you can by liking and subscribing. Leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Tell me about your autumn things that you enjoy stitching, your favourite charts. And if you are so inclined, you could support me even further on the postage for the giveaways by using the Buy Me a Coffee link. But that is totally just up to you. I'm going to leave it there, and I'll look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care. Bye bye.